Okay, so let's dive into one of the biggest concerns in today's digital world,
Uh,
data security. I mean, think about it. We hear about it all the time, right? A company hit by ransomware, their entire system locked down, files held hostage. It's a nightmare scenario, and it can happen to anyone.
It absolutely can.
But what if there was a way to hit rewind on those disasters? That's where the power of immutable snapshots comes in.
Right, got it.
These are basically like superpowered backups, safeguarding your data against pretty much anything. So you think of it like this. You're working on a super important project, designs for, I don't know, the next revolutionary gadget, and suddenly, boom, computer crashes. All that data, gone. Or, even scarier, your entire system is hit with a ransomware attack. It's enough to make any business owner break out in a cold sweat. But with immutable snapshots, it's almost like taking a picture with your phone. You can edit that picture, crop it, add filters, whatever,
Yeah.
but the original file, it's still there, untouched. That's what these snapshots do for your data. They create a read-only, unchangeable copy,
Yeah.
a frozen-in-time version that can't be messed with, even if ransomware tries to hold it hostage.
Exactly.
But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets really interesting. These snapshots, they're not just for disaster recovery. They have a whole bunch of surprising uses that we're going to explore today with our experts. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do these snapshots actually guarantee that your data is safe?
Well, think of it like a time capsule, buried deep underground. It perfectly preserves its contents no matter what happens up above. Each snapshot uses something called a cryptographic hash value, which is basically like a unique fingerprint for your data. So even the tiniest change to that data would alter the fingerprint, making it immediately obvious that something's wrong.
So it's like a tamper-proof seal. If that seal's broken, you know something's up.
Precisely.
And that's what makes these snapshots so powerful, especially against ransomware, right?
Yeah, because even if hackers somehow manage to get into your system, they can't touch those snapshots. They're locked away, completely tamper-proof.
Okay, so it's like having an insurance policy for your data, but one that actually pays out when you need it most.
Exactly.
So this begs the question, does this mean you can just go back and rewind your data whenever you want? Like if you accidentally delete a file, can you just grab it from a previous snapshot?
Absolutely. That's one of the key benefits. With immutable snapshots, you have the power to restore your data to a specific point in time. So whether it's recovering from a crash, a ransomware attack, or even just an oops, I deleted that moment, you're covered.
It's all about peace of mind, knowing that your data is safe and sound.
You got it.
But, setting this up on my system might sound a bit complicated to some. Where do you even begin?
You're right. It can seem daunting at first, but with the right tools, it's actually quite straightforward. Here at Stonefly, we offer solutions like our Stone Fusion operating system for bare metal servers and our storage concentrator virtual machine, or SEVM for short, which can be installed on platforms like VMware, Hyper-V, and others. We strive to make setting up these snapshots as simple as possible.
Okay, that's good to hear. So let's break this down a bit. How do you figure out how much space you need to dedicate to these snapshots? Is it kind of like setting aside a partition on your hard drive just for backups?
That's a good way to think about it. We call it snap space, and it's basically a reserved area where those snapshots are stored, like a dedicated shelf in your file cabinet just for those backups. The amount you need depends on, well, how much data you have and how often it changes. As a general rule, we recommend allocating at least 20% of your total storage space, but of course you can always tweak that based on your specific needs.
Okay, so more frequent changes mean more snap space. Got it. What about the frequency of the snapshots themselves? How often should you be creating these time capsules of your data?
That's another important decision, and it really boils down to how much risk you're comfortable with. If you're dealing with super sensitive data that changes constantly, hourly or even more frequent snapshots might be the way to go. For less critical stuff that doesn't change as often, daily or weekly snapshots might be enough. It's about finding that sweet spot between protection and efficiency.
Makes sense. So it's all about customizing your strategy,
Yeah.
right? Based on your own needs and priorities.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got your snap space allocated and your schedule set up. What happens when that snap space fills up? Do you have to manually go in and clean it out?
Not necessarily. Our systems are pretty smart and flexible. When your snap space starts getting full, you have a couple of options. You can choose to preserve the live volume, which means you can keep working without interruption, but new snapshots will be paused until you expand the snap space. Or you can choose to preserve the snapshot, which essentially locks down the volume entirely to make absolutely sure that snapshot is captured.
Wow, that's pretty handy. It gives you a lot of control, right? You get to decide whether to prioritize ongoing operations or data protection at that specific moment.
That's right.
So it's becoming clear that these immutable snapshots are a game changer. especially with all those scary ransomware threats lurking out there. But are there benefits beyond just protection against data loss?
Oh, absolutely. That's just scratching the surface. Immutable snapshots have a whole range of applications, from long-term data retention, which is crucial for industries with strict regulations, to even speeding up software development. But we'll dive into those details a bit later.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued to hear more about that. But first, I'm sure our listeners are eager to learn how to actually set up these snapshots on their own systems. Where can they go for more info and guidance?
That's a great question. If you're looking to learn more about implementing these solutions and how our appliances can be tailored to your needs, you can get in touch with us directly. Our email is sales@stonefly.com, or you can check out our website, www.stonefly.com. Our team is always ready to answer your questions and help you build a rock-solid data protection strategy.
Awesome. We'll be sure to include that info in the show notes as well. Now, before we go any further, let's circle back to something you mentioned earlier, long-term data retention. How do immutable snapshots actually help with that?
That's a great question, and it's an area where these snapshots really excel. Think about industries like healthcare, finance, or government, where keeping accurate records for years, sometimes even decades, is absolutely critical.
Right, and not just for day-to-day operations. There are all sorts of legal and compliance reasons, too.
Exactly. And with traditional backup methods, there's always that nagging risk of data being accidentally modified, deleted, or even worse, intentionally tampered with.
Oh yeah, that's a scary thought.
But immutable snapshots, they offer that ironclad guarantee that the data hasn't been touched. It's a perfect replica of the past.
So it's not just about preventing data loss, it's about preserving data integrity over the long haul.
Precisely.
And that's essential for things like compliance audits, legal cases, any situation where you need to prove that your data is accurate and, well, trustworthy.
Exactly.
So it's like having a certified tamper-proof time capsule for your data. No more worries about accidental modifications or those, oops, I didn't mean to delete that moments.
You got it.
It really simplifies the whole auditing process, right?
Oh, absolutely. You can confidently point to your immutable snapshots and say, look, here's the data, exactly as it was. No room for doubt or questions.
Okay, so we've covered disaster recovery and long-term data retention. You also mentioned earlier that these snapshots can benefit software development. Now, that's something I'm really curious to hear more about. How do these snapshots fit into that fast-paced world of coding and testing?
Well, imagine you're a developer working on a brand new feature for a website or app. You need a realistic environment to test your code, but obviously you don't want to risk breaking anything in the live system.
Right, one wrong move and the whole website could crash.
Exactly. But this is where immutable snapshots come in. You can create what's called a sandbox environment, a separate, isolated copy of your production data. And in that sandbox, you can experiment freely without any consequences.
So it's like a virtual playground for developers.
That's a great way to put it.
They can test their code, try new things, break things intentionally even, all without affecting the live system.
Precisely.
And once they're done testing, they can just discard that snapshot and spin up a fresh one. That way, each test starts with a clean, consistent set of data.
Exactly.
And that can dramatically speed up the development process, right?
Absolutely. Developers can try out new ideas more quickly and confidently, knowing they have that safety net.
It's all about fostering innovation and creativity, allowing developers to take risks without the fear of causing major problems.
You got it.
But I imagine there are benefits beyond just speed and efficiency too, right?
Absolutely. By testing in an environment that mirrors the live data, developers can identify and fix bugs more effectively. And that leads to, well, higher quality software releases.
Makes sense. It also reduces the risk of introducing new bugs into the live system, which can save companies a ton of time, money, and headaches down the road. Okay, so it's becoming clear that these snapshots are more than just backups. They're a super versatile tool that can be used in all sorts of ways to improve data security, compliance, and even software development. But I know some listeners might be feeling a little overwhelmed by all this information. It's a lot to take in.
I understand. Setting up and managing immutable snapshots might sound daunting at first, but it really isn't as complicated as it seems. And remember, you don't have to go it alone.
Right. For our listeners who are eager to explore these solutions further, what's the best way to get in touch and learn more about how Stonefly can help them put these strategies into practice?
Great question. You can reach out to us directly at sales@stonefly.com or visit our website at www.stonefly.com. Our team is always here to answer your questions and guide you through the process, from assessing your needs to choosing the right solutions and getting everything set up.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include that information in the show notes as well. Now, before we move on, I wanted to touch on a topic that's often overlooked in these discussions about data security, the human element. We've talked about technology and best practices, but ultimately, it's people who make the decisions and implement these strategies.
That's a crucial point. No system is perfect, and human error is always a factor. So it's vital to have a comprehensive security strategy that takes into account both the technical and the human aspects.
Right. It's not just about having the latest and greatest software. It's about having a team that's educated, empowered, and engaged in protecting those valuable assets.
Yeah, exactly.
So how can organizations foster that kind of culture of security and minimize the risk of human error?
Well, there are several key steps you can take. First and foremost, education is paramount. Make sure your team understands why data security is so important and the role they play in protecting it.
So it's about empowering them to be the first line of defense, not just relying on technology to catch everything.
Exactly. And it's not just about training, it's about creating a culture where security is everyone's responsibility, where people feel comfortable reporting potential issues and asking questions. Encourage open communication and collaboration, and make sure everyone feels like they're part of the solution.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about building a human firewall,
Yeah.
the collective defense that's far more effective than any single technology alone.
Precisely.
And that's where our team at Stonefly can really make a difference, right?
Absolutely. We don't just provide technology, we provide guidance, training, and ongoing support to help our clients build that culture of security within their organizations. We work closely with our clients to understand their unique needs and challenges and develop tailored strategies that address both the technical and human aspects of data security.
So it's a very collaborative approach.
It is.
You're not just selling products, you're building partnerships with your clients, helping them navigate the complex world of data security and empowering them to make informed decisions.
That's exactly right.
That's a fantastic approach. Well, before we move on to our next segment, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. We've talked about protecting data from external threats, but what about internal risks? Accidental deletions, misconfigurations, even malicious insiders. These are all potential threats that can wreak havoc on your data.
You've hit on a very important point. Data security isn't just about external threats. It's about having a comprehensive approach that addresses all potential risks, both inside and outside the organization. And immutable snapshots can play a vital role in mitigating those internal risks as well.
That's a perfect segue into our next segment. We'll delve deeper into the various use cases for immutable snapshots, exploring how they can be leveraged to protect your data from a wide range of threats, both internal and external.
It's one thing to talk about these benefits, but let me share a story about a company that was hit with a ransomware attack. Their entire network locked down, files encrypted, attackers demanding a huge ransom. It was a terrifying situation, the kind that can really cripple a business.
I can imagine the panic.
Yeah,
Every business owner's worst nightmare.
it was. But here's the thing. This company, they had implemented a robust data protection strategy using immutable snapshots and air gapping.
Oh, okay.
So because those snapshots were completely isolated and tamper-proof, they were able to fully restore their systems to a point before the attack. Essentially, they turned back the clock, wiping out the ransomware's impact. Back to business as usual.
Wow, talk about dodging a bullet.
Yeah.
It really shows how important it is to have that well-thought-out snapshot strategy. Not just a theoretical safety net, a real lifesaver.
Absolutely, and that's what we're all about at Stonefly. We've seen firsthand how these solutions can mean the difference between a minor inconvenience and a complete catastrophe. It's about giving our clients that peace of mind, knowing their data is secure no matter what.
Like having an insurance policy for your data,
Yeah.
but one that actually works when you need it most.
Exactly.
Speaking of needing it most, let's get back to those best practices for making your snapshot strategy as effective as possible. We touched on scheduling, retention, air gapping, but let's dive into layered security a bit more.
Layered security is crucial. It's about building a fortress around your data. Multiple layers of defense, making it super difficult for attackers to get through. We talked about encryption, access controls, intrusion detection, but it's worth really emphasizing how these all work together to create that truly comprehensive security.
Building a fortress around your data. I like that. It emphasizes how important it is to have multiple layers, right? Not just one wall. You want the moats, the drawbridges, the guards on the towers.
Exactly, minimizing the risk at every point. So let's start with encryption. Strong, industry-standard encryption algorithms. Your data is scrambled, completely unreadable, without the right decryption keys. It's like a safe that only you have the combination to.
So even if someone somehow gets past all your other security and gets their hands on the data, it's still useless to them without the key.
Precisely. And then we have access controls. This is about limiting who can see, modify, or delete your snapshots. Only authorized personnel. Think of it like security clearance levels. Only those with the highest clearance get access to the most sensitive information.
Not just an all-or-nothing approach, you can customize those levels based on people's roles in the organization.
Exactly. And finally, we have intrusion detection. Our systems are constantly monitoring for any suspicious activity, any attempts to access or modify snapshots that just don't look right, like having a watchful eye on your data 24/7.
So it's not just about preventing access, it's about knowing when someone is trying to get in, even if they don't succeed.
Yeah.
Being proactive.
Exactly, that early warning system. And by combining these three layers, encryption, access controls, and intrusion detection, you create a security posture that is really tough to crack.
You've done a great job explaining this complex topic. But even with all these safeguards, there's still that human element. No system is perfect, mistakes happen.
You're right. Technology provides the tools, but it's human awareness, vigilance, and a commitment to best practices that really matter. Regular monitoring and auditing of your snapshots is key. It's not set it and forget it. You need to be proactive, reviewing logs, checking for anything unusual. Make sure your strategy is still working for you.
Regular checkups for your data, just like you would for your health.
Exactly. Think of monitoring and auditing as preventative care for your data. Catching those potential issues early before they become big problems. Making sure those snapshots are doing their job, protecting your data, giving you that peace of mind so you can focus on running your business.
This has been really helpful. I think our listeners are probably eager to learn more. What's the best way for them to get in touch with Stonefly and explore these solutions?
They can reach out to us directly. Our email is sales@stonefly.com or visit our website, www.stonefly.com. Our team is here to answer any questions and guide you through the process.
Great. We'll include that info in the show notes too. Now let's shift gears a bit. I want to talk about something that often gets overlooked, the concept of data immutability. We've been talking about immutable snapshots, but what does immutability actually mean? Why is it so important today?
Great question. It's fundamental to understanding why these snapshots are so powerful. Immutability means data cannot be changed or deleted once it's written. It's like setting something in stone.
I like that. It really gets across that idea of permanence, unchangeable.
Exactly. And in our world today, with cyber attacks becoming more and more sophisticated and data breaches happening all the time, immutability is crucial. It provides a level of assurance that you just can't get with traditional backups.
So even if your system is compromised, hackers get in. They can't tamper with those immutable copies, frozen in time.
Precisely. That's why there's such a powerful weapon against ransomware. Even if your main data is encrypted or corrupted, you can always go back to that clean, unchangeable snapshot.
Immutability really changes the game when it comes to data protection. It's not just about backups anymore. It's about creating a secure foundation for your entire data setup.
Absolutely. Shifting from reactive security measures to proactive protection. Building a fortress around your data, not just trying to fix things after the damage is done.
I love that shift in thinking. It's about empowering businesses to take control of their data and their future.
Exactly. And that's what we're passionate about at Stonefly. We're not just selling products, we're empowering businesses to protect their most valuable assets, build resilience, and face the future with confidence.
Powerful message. It's clear that immutable snapshots are a key part of that.
They are. They represent a real change in how we think about data protection, and we believe they're essential for any organization that wants to succeed in our digital world.
This has been really eye-opening. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of data immutability and how these snapshots can be a game changer for businesses.
It's been a pleasure sharing this knowledge with you and the listeners.
I'm sure they found it helpful. And for those ready to take the next step, our team at Stonefly is here to help. You can reach out to us at sales@stonefly.com or visit our website at www.stonefly.com. We're ready to answer any questions and help you get started on the road to robust data protection.
Absolutely. We're passionate about helping our clients protect their data, and we believe these snapshots are a key part of that.
Well said. So to wrap up this segment, I want to leave our listeners with this. In a world where data is so vital, protecting it is not optional. It's essential. But it's not just about preventing loss. It's about unlocking the full potential of your data. using it to drive innovation, agility, and growth. Immutable Snapshots offer a powerful tool to do just that, giving you the confidence and security to embrace the future without fear.
Beautifully put. Moving beyond fear and embracing the possibilities. Building a foundation for success in the digital age.
And for those looking to build that foundation, remember, Stonefly is here to help. Contact us at sales@stonefly.com or visit our website at www.stonefly.com to learn more. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of immutable snapshots.
You know, it's interesting. We often think about data protection as a way to prevent something bad from happening, right? Like a crash, a breach, some kind of disaster. But what if we kind of flipped that idea on its head? What if we looked at it as a way to enable something good? Instead of just preventing loss, we use these technologies to actually unlock new possibilities.
I like that. Shifting from a mindset of fear to a mindset of empowerment. So instead of just worrying about what we might lose, we focus on what we can gain.
Exactly. And that's where these immutable snapshots can really come into play. They provide that level of confidence, that security that allows businesses to be more innovative, more agile, more responsive.
Okay, give me some examples. How can immutable snapshots actually drive innovation?
Well, let's say you have a company that's developing a new product or service.
Right.
They need to test out different ideas, experiment with new technologies, be able to iterate quickly based on feedback. But, with traditional backup methods, that process can be slow and risky. Every time they want to try something new, they have to worry about maybe corrupting their data or disrupting their operations.
Right, so it's like walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
You're constantly worried about making a mistake that could set you back weeks, months even.
Yeah, exactly. But with these immutable snapshots, those fears they melt away. They have that safety net, right? That allows teams to be more daring, more creative, more willing to really push those boundaries.
It's like having a reset button for your entire business.
That's a great way to put it. You can try anything, knowing that you can always just go back, revert back to a previous snapshot, no harm done.
Turning those what-if questions into let's try it and see moments.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just, product development. These snapshots can be really valuable for data analysis, machine learning, business intelligence. You can create multiple copies of your data, each representing a different point in time, and then use those copies to test different algorithms, run simulations, analyze trends.
So it's like having a time machine for your data.
Exactly. And with big data, with data-driven decision-making becoming more and more important, that ability to analyze and understand your data over time, it's becoming incredibly valuable.
It's like having a crystal ball that shows you not just the future, but the past as well. You get a much, much richer understanding of how your business operates.
That's right. And that's why we at Stonefly, we're so excited about the potential of these snapshots. They're not just a backup solution. They're a foundation for innovation, agility, and data-driven decision-making.
It's a powerful message, and it really ties back to what we were talking about earlier, shifting from that reactive to a proactive approach to data protection, not just preventing loss, but enabling growth and innovation.
Absolutely. And that's what we're passionate about at Stonefly. We're helping businesses unlock the full potential of their data and use it to drive their success.
This has been a truly insightful deep dive into the world of immutable snapshots. I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for their power and versatility.
It's been my pleasure. I hope the listeners have found it valuable as well.
I'm sure they have. And for those who are ready to take that next step, remember, our team at Stonefly is always here to help. You can reach out to us at sales@stonefly.com or visit our website, www.stonefly.com. We're ready to answer any questions and guide you through the process of implementing a really robust and tailored snapshot strategy that fits your specific needs.
Absolutely. We're passionate about helping our clients protect their data, and we believe these snapshots are a key part of achieving that goal.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with this. In a world that's becoming increasingly digital, where data is really the lifeblood of every business, protecting that data it's no longer optional, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely essential. But it's not just about preventing loss. It's about unlocking that full potential of your data, using it to drive innovation, agility, and growth. Immutable snapshots. They offer a really powerful tool for achieving those goals, giving you the confidence and security to embrace the future without fear.
Well said. It's about moving beyond fear and really embracing those possibilities that data protection can unlock. It's about building a foundation for success in the digital age.
And for those looking to build that foundation, remember, Stonefly is here to help. You can contact us at sales@stonefly.com or visit our website at www.stonefly.com to learn more. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of immutable snapshots.